Hello, and thank you for joining me here on So Stitch X. Today, I'm going to be talking about some advice that I gave in a group I'm in on Facebook. So, a person came to the group really upset. They didn't give any context, just that they were so angry and they wanted to become a Satanist because they have this misconception about Satanists being hateful, horrible people, which seemed to be like their idea. Like, I just want to become like evil, and it's like, Satanists aren't evil. They're also not hateful people. Some of them are like nicer than Christians, which is a misconstrued idea, because, you know, we could all just be good people. Everyone could just be good people, but, you know, my own little argument there. Sorry. But, like, they have this idea that they're just so mad and they just want to do something drastic. And I gave some okay advice. And I thought I'd share. So my advice was that if you're really, really angry and you're that mad, but you want to make some drastic, life-changing decision, like, write it down. Write a letter to yourself, to whoever it is. You don't have to give it to anyone. Just keep it for yourself. But you need to let it out. You need to put all of your feelings on the paper. Really feel the feelings and, like, relish in those emotions while they're there. And as anger subsided, know that you didn't deny your emotions. You didn't push it down. You didn't ignore it. You validated your own feelings. Because sometimes you have to vent to yourself to feel heard, or you can vent to your God. You can pray and vent to God, and there are videos on YouTube about it. I didn't know that, but I have the same idea. Like, if God is supposed to be your friend, then, because to me, you're supposed to talk to God as you're talking to a friend. Do not be afraid to speak to them. Talk to them often. Tell them how you feel. Tell them positive, negative. Tell them all the things. Vent to God. Talk to them. Vent to Goddess. Vent to a group. I don't care. You care. Vent to someone that makes you feel heard. And, like, keep that letter. Don't just get rid of it when you're done. Keep it. And approach it later so that you have a record and you can remember, like, what you were feeling exactly as you were feeling it in the moment you were feeling it. Have it so that you can recycle the language of your letter and use it in later spell work or use it in poetry. You can be very, when this high emotion creates so much creative energy. And if you don't want to do spell work in the moment, because most people can't do controlled spell work in an environment where they have volatile emotions or just heavy emotion in general, most people want to be in a balanced state. I work well with emotion because I just kind of feel it move around, but that's just me. But pray to your God. That doesn't feel as a spell to me. You're not casting negativity on someone if you're just telling your God how you feel. And this kind of brings up a video I saw, which is that, so this friend, like, wanted to vent to someone else. It was like a parody video by Smosh, but they wanted to, like, vent to their buddy, and their friend was telling them how, like, they need permission to vent, that they need consent to receive their burdens, which I thought was really rude, and that they're not just the phrasing of your burden, like, because, like, ooh. But they said that they're being taken advantage of in their friendship, and that they don't have their emotional bandwidth is at capacity. And that I was thinking about that, like, how you don't always ask permission if someone is ready to be like, talked to about things. And sometimes people will tell you, sometimes they won't, and they'll complain about it later. But, like, you don't really have to ask your God if you can vent to them. You don't have to ask yourself if you can vent to them. You don't have to ask you to validate your own feelings. You should validate yourself. And if someone else isn't validating you, remind yourself that you should feel what you're feeling and it's okay. Even if it's misguided in some way, it's still okay. And your God's not going to get mad at you either, no matter what it is. They're just going to listen to you and take it for that. Once you move on from having written it down and you can see it on paper, then if you really want to, like, curse someone or spell someone or bind someone or hex someone, I don't really care, that's you. Then you can take what's written down and explore it in that way, as well as, like, have the exact language so you can see in a way that's going to make it an even trade, make them feel exactly as you're feeling, and have the reference there for like poetry or other creative endeavors. And that was just my advice. They did want to resort to violence, but I do not feel comfortable commenting on violence when I'm not involved. But generally violence isn't the answer, and the creative outlet is a better solution. And once you have that control over yourself, because you understand what you're feeling, if people still invalidate you, I think it's totally valid to do what you need to do to protect yourself psychologically, emotionally, physically, whatever it takes. That's all for you. And just go for it. And just, I don't know, validate yourself. If you can't vent to other people, do it. Alright, bye you guys. I hope this advice is helpful to you as it was to the other person who didn't want to listen to it, but other people found it helpful. So if it is helpful, leave in the comment below. If it's not, what would you do? How do you respond to super like anger if you can't just go to the person, or you go to the person? Do you do that? Is that the first thing you do? Or are you one to seclude yourself, or just get it out first and then have it like an organized argument ready? Because like I like to have my points bulleted and like ready to make my like commentary when I'm going, because otherwise it sounds so rambly, and even then I sound rambly. But I don't know, it feels better to me to have like it written out and like see it, and that helps me with everything. Even with like depression, if I write like a letter or something to put out on paper all of the physical aspects of what I'm dealing with that I would miss out on or that I'm ignoring, and like kind of itemize the list to really quantify what I'm feeling and how it relates to the real world, that helps me. And that helps me with my emotions too. Alright, so let me know in the comments below. Bye you guys. Subscribe and like, please.